Happy November. We appreciate you all coming out tonight, and just a few things, if you don't mind. I was heading out to the store the other day, and I saw some kids playing in the leaves. Please be careful. You don't want to drive into the leaves. They were hanging out. You know how kids like doing that. So you don't want to pull into the leaves and get them, and something happens. So please be careful of not pulling through the leaves on that. And also, we're coming up to Thanksgiving and stuff like. If you can give for those who are less fortunate than us, we'd appreciate it. Give to your local, whether it's canned goods, or whatever you can do. Thank you. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022 has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, the Ledger on December 22, 2021. Madam Clerk, may we have the inspiration, pledge of allegiance, please?
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties in continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Barber? Here. Mr. Kaneki?
Here.
Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Powers?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here. All right, we got special proclamations, recognitions. Do we have anybody from Community Lights here by any chance? Okay, well, we have one. We'll get it through here. It's a very important proclamation. We do it every year, and it's very important. There's a lot of whereases, so we'll get to it. What it is, it's through Women's Space. Whereas the policy of Lawrence Township to recognize an organization has contributed to the overall benefit of the community. Whereas Women's Space, founded in 1977, has demonstrated a unique ability to provide comfort, support, services, crisis intervention, and safety to women who are a victim of sexual assault and domestic violence. And whereas Women's Space has provided emergency shelter in secure locations and comprehensive services for victims of domestic violence since 1977 and sexual assault since 2002 for more than 110,143 women, 16,442 children, 7,567 men. Additionally, Women's Space has assisted more than 308,446 hotline callers over the last 45 years. Lawrence Township has commended Women's Space for their effort to bring an end to the cycle of interpersonal violence imposed on women, children, and men. Whereas Mayor of Lawrence Township, I urge that each and every household demonstrate their support and concept that peace begins at home by placing luminaries along their driveways and sidewalks on Monday, December 5th, 2022, as a visible symbol that of the support. Whereas the proceeds from Community Lights 2022 will be used to fund vital service for domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. Now, therefore, I, John T. Ryan, Mayor of Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim December 5th, 2022 as Community of Lights Day, and hereby honor Women's Space of its many accomplishments and wish them continued success with the communities of lights in the years to come. You can purchase kits. I know we do it here. We always have a service down at Weeden Park, December 5th. Kathleen, we're all usually there. I do it with my wife personally on our driveway, and good cause. Good cause. I'm sad that we have to do it, but this is a good cause. We have a special proclamation by Mr. Dino and
It's an easy one, Mr. Mayor. Spadaccini.
Spadich, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you come up, state your name and.
Absolutely. Thank you,
address
Mr.
for the
Mayor.
record. You can just come over to the.
You want me to
Yes,
do that
sir.
one? Okay, great. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Dino Spadaccini on behalf of Reynolds Asset Management this evening. As some of you may know, my law practice is located right around the corner at Franklin Corner Road. And what I'm here to speak about this evening, or to at least introduce on behalf of my client, is the proposed redevelopment of the Princeton Pike Office Park, which is at 3131 Princeton Pike. I can tell you that at this point in my career, there aren't too many projects that really get me excited. Well, Kevin's had to hear this about 5 times now. But this is truly a project that is very exciting and can be truly transformational for the town, and one that I think both the town and the developer are going to be able to point out when it's hopefully done and really commend one another for the collaboration on this. So it's something we're very excited about. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lou Reynolds.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you making an accommodation for us to come and speak to you about this project. I'd like to point out to you guys, which one is which button? This one. Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry, I need a little tutorial. So I'd like to point out to you guys, this is the Princeton Pike Office Park it's located here in Lawrence. What we're looking at here is, I'll just point out to everybody, this is Princeton Pike, and you've got 295 running along the back side of the property. And the project that we're really specifically focused on today is right here in front, these 2 buildings and the one right behind it, H-shaped building.
Can you
Yeah.
describe just a couple of the tenants there? Because I bet people would be easier to recognize which building it is.
Sure. There's a orthodontist in the front here. What's the name of that orthodontist? My Ortho. So My Ortho is located right here. This building is vacant currently. It was a single tenant occupancy building. They vacated a number of years ago, and it's been sitting vacant ever since. And there's an attorney here. There's some small offices, but they're all vacating.
I think there's a dress for success too back there, and then ears, nose, and throat.
Correct. Back here in these 3 properties, these 3 buildings,
Yeah.
those are functioning. Those are not functionally obsolete. They're functioning buildings. They've got good businesses in them. Some of them are growing, and some of them are, some of the people from here are relocating into the back simply because they have now an opportunity to get more viable business space. The space that's there now it's obsolete. It's not very great for greeting new clients and customers into your space. The stairs, the exterior elevator, it's a glass elevator. It's not really all that great. So they've had a little good opportunity to move into the back buildings, and they've been really excited about that. So these are the buildings we're talking about here. And just from a higher level view, just so you can see top down, the 3 in the back remain. So you got Mercer Children's Dentistry, Capital Health. Capital Health is in, this one, Dress for Success is over here. And then these are My Ortho. Some of these are, this is vacant, and these 2 are very much vacant. They're about 50% vacant now, and people are vacating as soon as their leases expire. Again, just giving you a better view of what these buildings look like a little bit more close up. And something that I'm excited to talk to you about briefly today is a redevelopment plan that we have for this location. It's something that, through conversations with the town about what could work well here, not necessarily just coming in with some big development, but coming in with something that achieves a live, work, play type of arrangement. People work in this area, Bristol Myers, our properties in the back, in the surrounding areas, but also you can live, great, you can live there, but where do you go? What's play? And so through a combination of meetings with the town, we think we've struck upon something that could potentially meet the vision that Lawrence has for streetscapes, for public space, meeting space, places where the community can gather. And I think that we've achieved it. Not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. So this is another vision of what you would see from the property here. Again, Princeton Pike, small, low-scale, one-story spaces here, which would have restaurants, retail shops, walking promenades, open spaces with playgrounds, water fountains, things that would give something a sense of community and a sense of space, while going up in scale as you go further from the main road. As you go up, we would go from a single story here to 3 stories to 4 stories, where the apartments would be here with a lot of amenity space for the apartment livers, people who live in apartments. And then you've got the retail frontage. Also, something that we've heard from the town is the need for a buffer, some sort of green buffer between the streets and the retail. So we've maintained the green buffer that's currently at this location. Just giving you another idea of what this would look like from a street level perspective. Again, we're trying to keep the scale small while maintaining a financial viability while maintaining a small scale. So you got walking promenade here along the street front of the retail. And then another view, this is the other side. So this is the parking lot side. This would be the Princeton Pike side. This is what would be visible from the Princeton Pike road. Again, we made very wide boulevards, open space where people can gather, have a lunch. We're in a community with an office park behind it, and it's a very walkable space. We've been there a number of times, and people are outside taking a walk for lunch and walking around. Great. Where do they go? There's nowhere to go. So this is an idea that we would have an opportunity for people on their lunch break, stretch their legs, get for a walk, go out here, grab lunch, grab a coffee, meet with coworkers, and then go back to work. So lots of open space that can accommodate that kind of lifestyle. And then something else I wanted to show you guys is how we're building up the scale. Again, the 3 stories in the front followed by 4 stories in the back, trying to keep the scale low so that way it doesn't feel overwhelming. And from the streetscape, it almost disappears. As a visual looks out along, it's not going to feel like a big burdensome project on the street. It's going to feel very small and in scale. In the back, it won't even be visible. So that's really it. This is it. This is our project. This is our vision for how we can rebrand and rethink the office park concept and make it something where people can really live, work, and play in the same spot, same location. Mr. Mayor, did I do okay at the time?
Did excellent.
Yeah,
Did excellent.
I interrupted in the beginning.
I know,
yeah,
that's pretty
this-
good.
Like basic data.
Yeah, just some basic data, Lou. I believe 194 units.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Obviously have to comply with COA, all those types of things. And one of the reasons why Lou's just looking at some things, one of the reasons we wanted to come to council is obviously the use is not permitted in that zone. So going in on something like this for a use variance would be a very difficult challenge. So what we prefer to do if the town has any interest in it is going by way of redevelopment so that it can truly be a collaboration as we're going through the process and get input from your planners, engineers, professionals, and come to something so that when we do get to the board, it's completely compliant rather than asking for use variance relief, which, as all of you know, is a very difficult hurdle to overcome, especially if something along this magnitude, if you will. So I just wanted to let you know that as well, without taking too much more time. It's probably the fastest I've spoken in a while, sorry.
Yeah, so just some quick stats on the project. It's 193 apartments, mixtures of 1s, 2s, and 3s. We would have 15% that'd be allocated for affordable. And we have 17,000 square feet of retail along Princeton Pike.
Mr. Mayor?
Mhm.
Ask a question?
Yes.
Are they rental or owner?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. They would all be rentals.
Thank you.
Can I do a follow-up, Mayor?
Absolutely.
Like 1 or 2 bedrooms, like, what are you thinking for?
1s, 2s, and 3-bedroom apartments. Primarily, the majority of them would not be the 3s. The 3s are primarily for the affordable component to meet our affordable housing requirements.
And is your target audience more the workers in 3131, younger people? That's sort of,
That's a great question. We always focus on the median income of a location. So we always try to build housing that is for the people of the market we're building in. We never want to create something that's unattainable for the people that live there. So this again, like I had mentioned through conversations with the town and the engineers, to have something that's economically viable and can be sustainable, we had to find the right balance of retail, apartment mix, and amenities to attract the right people. So yes, we believe that this is affordable for the people of this community, using the median income as our barometer for what is affordable.
and Mayor, just for Manager Nowinski, this wouldn't be our first time. I think we've changed an industrial zone for commercial. So have we done that before in the township?
This is not, there's no proposal. First of all, just for everybody's benefit, this is just an introduction. This board is, these members are not asked to approve of anything or disapprove. This is just a very, very basic introduction to an idea so that the elected officials are aware. This is going to be a function of the planning board completely with public meetings, all of that stuff. So that's what this is. And you heard from Mr. Spadaccini about a desire to have it be deemed an area in need of redevelopment. And it's not a rezoning to pave the way. The area in need of redevelopment, and Dave, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it allows the town to collaborate with the developer with very specific plans that are going to be submitted as opposed to a zoning board application where it's completely on the developer to submit. So it's a means for the town to collaborate and have better control of what's actually going to go there. And so that's just, nothing's been agreed to, nothing, it's just.
But it's not our first time doing that. I mean, even on Brunswick Avenue, we did the redevelopment designation down there.
Sure.
Okay. That's all. Thanks, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think
Mr.
that.
Mayor, if I-
Go ahead.
Please.
One thing that jumped out at me just thinking about it was how the focus has been on sort of Princeton Pike and sort of scaling back, which I really appreciate that happening.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's sort of starting to push back towards the highway and the other office uses. Have you thought about how that sort of transitions back down again? It's just something to think about in terms of, if you don't have an answer now, that's completely understandable, but just something to think about that
Sure.
as
Yeah,
you're living there, how that feels, how you sort of move throughout that space, right?
That's why we're here, is to,
No, because I think one of the things that I've really appreciated about Lawrence Township is that you go into many of our sort of denser communities, and they're fairly well thought out in terms of a balance of open space and sort of dense, tall, sort of 3- and 4-story buildings, and just keeping that. And so it's not just sort of you exit the building in your blacktop, go to your car, and then it's, not enticing. And from what I've heard, I really like, just to continue, and I'll be quiet, Mr. Mayor.
No, you're
I
fine.
do appreciate, as someone who's concerned about the environment and car trips and stuff, the idea of having this sort of become a walkable area that you could, and that would probably help you in terms of marketing your existing office space, right? You don't have to park in.
It's a lifestyle. We're trying to create a lifestyle, something that is, people can feel like they're back in a walkable environment. They don't have to get in their car. They can go to work by simply walking a block or two away. And you'll notice I put this back up because I think it's an important distinction here. These are sidewalks. We have very walkable sidewalks here that connect to sidewalks that are already here. So people are walking up and down, you can see right here, there's probably a better visual. People are walking up and down this area already. And something that creates an open environment. And to your point, we maintained as many trees as we possibly could. we're actually lowering the impervious coverage on this project from what's there today. So there's going to be more open green space than there is today, which I think is an immense. Honestly, I've done a lot of these things. That never happens.
Right.
Usually we're fighting to get more impervious coverage, and it's a push-pull.
Right.
Here, we've actually lowered the impervious coverage. So I think it's actually an improvement overall.
Mr. Mayor, I'm glad to hear that they've been able to do that and have it sort of pencil out in terms of their financials and stuff,
Yeah.
because that is a rare
I
thing.
think, I think we have to also, we look at that it's not, just a presentation that we're not overstressing our police force, our fire department, something we have to look through, or ELSA for flow and stuff like that. We have to look into that.
Mayor, we have to retain our planner,
Correct.
do a redevelopment study. That's how this begins.
Correct.
So while these ideas are wonderful, we've got a long way to go.
Mhm.
And our planner is going to have a lot of input on what makes sense. I think they've made the argument that with numerous empty office buildings, this is an area that needs the township's inspection. So I think there's interest on our part, but we've got a long way to go. And we're not going to solve all our problems tonight, so.
No, and simply, and we appreciate that, Dave. We just didn't want you to hear about this from someone else is really what it comes down to.
Right.
Appreciate it, Mr. Spatacino. Councilwoman Lewis? Give me a second. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question, and you started to talk about it, but where the sidewalks are, and now I've lost my orientation, is that Princeton Pike where the sidewalks already are?
This is Executive Park Plaza Road.
That's what I thought. Are there,
This is Princeton Pike.
Mhm.
are there gonna be sidewalks along the Princeton Pike piece? Because one of the things that I think is really important, and I say this as somebody who just walked from my house all the way along 206 to come to this council meeting, is to make sure that the rest of the community can come to those shops and do all of those other pieces as well.
That's something we'll definitely take into consideration. I believe there's already sidewalks there, but I can't remember off the top of
Yeah,
my
I
head.
can't either. That's why I asked the question. And I do just want to point out, and I want to commend, I know this is just an informational piece, but I think it's not just useful for information for all of us sitting up here, but I'm certain as this goes to planning board, residents will start to hear, and it's a lot easier if folks have seen something to say, oh, I know what this is. So thank you for that as well.
Councilman Bobbitt?
Mr. Mayor, one last thing.
Yes.
And less for the developer, who I appreciate coming before us and just kind of introducing this, but to the township manager to talk to staff about. I appreciate understanding and hearing about these little spot pieces, but just to keep our planners thinking about how pieces like this can be woven into a fabric of a sort of walkable, bikeable community, so that these don't become sort of pockets of sort of new development, and then it's a barren wasteland of no sidewalk, no bike lane, nothing like that. So keep that in mind as well. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The last thing that I'll say is that that the developer and the attorney, we've met several times, and it came in as one thing, and they have been very receptive to all of our thoughts and recommendations, and it's coming out something completely different that I think is going to be positive.
And we think it's better as well. So that's why the collaboration is very important to us, because, look, we're looking at things one way. Input is a great thing. You obviously have the historical information, having lived here and the like. So it's important to get those factors incorporated into the plan. So again, that's why we wanted to be here, and we appreciate the time. So
That's right. This is simply an informational thing, something we just simply wanted to let you guys know what we're planning, what we're thinking about, and again, opening it up for further discussion, because we want to be part of this community. This isn't something we're going to do and then abandon. We anticipate being here for a long time, being part of the community. We've had a lot of conversations with local businesses about taking space in the retail. It's been very well received by some local businesses here. I'm not at liberty to say which, but well-known local businesses would love to have some of this retail space to open up some new concept restaurants and places. So we would love to be a part of this community. We'd love to be something that we're all proud of, to say that this is something we all worked on together.
Any questions? Thank you, Mrs. Spataccini.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your presentation.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I know everyone wants to get back and watch the Phillies, so. I think we can start allocated time.
But it's not.
This is not
No,
for
that's not
questioning.
what this is for.
This is not questioning on this matter. We'll have public participation after this. This is
Thanks
just,
again.
thank you. Have a good night. This is just a presentation. All right, we're good. Public participation, we have 5 minutes. Anybody public participation? Come on up, state your name and address for the record, if you don't mind. Thank you. And it is 5 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Easy. My name is Glenn Elhart. I live 624 Valley Forge Avenue. Been there like 30-some years. This is still regards to some problems we're having at Trenton Block. You know, first of all, I acknowledge their right to exist and conduct business. But like every other resident in this township, we're supposed to follow the laws. You know, we're bound to like live between the laws and the codes. So far, they failed in this endeavor. You know, first they illegally occupied township land. You know, they cut down woods and altered the landscape. They got a violation notice for 30 days to vacate and remediate. That was 60 days ago. Nothing has been done so far. This morning, I went back there, and on some of the land they had previously moved out of, they got stuff back there again. These guys are like shoving it in our face and like flaunting it here. You know, how long are we gonna like let this keep on going? Another quick thing, there was a survey done in 2003 when this land was purchased. It had to be, that's part of buying like land on here. I would request that they install either a fence or permanent and visible markers, so somebody can keep an eye and see what's going on here. Lastly, I'd just like to inquire on the board here, what's the possibility of designating the couple lots that are back there, the township owns, that are unoccupied, is incorporating to them into like the green acres that's right next to that. If we do something that way, well, part of it's wetlands already. So we know that, and DEP is scheduled this month to come reevaluate the place. If we don't do something here reasonably soon, we're gonna be back to this predicament in another year. Somebody's gonna wanna do something, he's gonna go farther. Let's take some steps to solve this now, possibly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that we can, Township Manager, Mr. Nowinski, I think that maybe you could look into that, if they haven't been noticed in 30 days.
I have plenty of pictures too.
I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate it on that.
Mr. Mayor, I feel like last time, and the manager can correct me, but part of it was because this was an open matter, we couldn't comment and provide updates while it was an open matter. I think that's still true.
Yeah.
Right, no, I'm just asking, I'm having the manager confirm that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was not commenting, I was just saying, can we just go down?
Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't disagreeing with you.
That's
I
all.
was just, no, I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Sorry.
But to make sure that they understood.
Sorry.
Oh, we got one more.
Come on up, state your name and your address, please, for the record. Thank you.
Oh, I love that mask.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Like,
My name's Andrea Williams, 82 Point Court, Lawrenceville. I'm here to represent Lawrenceville Point Homeowners Association and my residents over there. Lawrenceville Point is a premier 55 and over complex. We were built in 2000 and our roads were deeded back to the township by a lot of work done by Bob Guadagnino. His widow Janice is here with us. Our residents rely on the roads as a means of exercise, especially since COVID. Our roads are in extreme disrepair. We've been told for 10+ years we're on the list to get them fixed. Greg Whitehead and I are best buddies. The truck finally came out about a month and a half ago to fix the roads, and the truck broke. They came out on Thursday to start fixing the roads, and you can see an example of what they look like now. Well, we're very grateful that they're starting to fix them. The issue is the sealant they've put down has not dried. So the roads are tacky, and it's getting on our shoes and our dogs' paws. It's been over 20 hours of labor, and less than a fifth of the community has been done. Well, we're very grateful it's being done. This isn't the answer to what we need. What we'd like is if the roads could be cut. I've lost my place here. I'm not good with this. If they could be cut and patched with hot tar. Cut and patched with hot tar is insufficient. There's too many cracks. What we're asking is them to, I'm sorry.
Just
I
be
just
ground
lost my
down.
place. Yeah, we want the roads to be replaced and to seal them properly. What, to pave them.
Is this your posse?
Yeah, this is my posse.
Andrea?
We've got a posse. Margaret, do you want to come up? We have.
No, hold on, one at a
All
time,
right, I'm not
One
gonna
at a
sit
time.
down. I'm gonna let Margaret come up.
Yeah, but I don't even,
one at a time.
this is just,
If you, it's just state your name and your address for
Yes,
the
sir.
record, please, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
I'm a little too short
Yeah,
for this
right.
mic. Hi, I'm Margaret Rigo, and I live at 93 Point Court. Well, I've seen what they've done to the roads. They've used the hot tar to fill the cracks. And I have not walked on them, I just only rode through with my car. But if that hot tar is defective, it is not going to seal it properly. It's going to be tacky. And you don't want that tackiness because they'll take it into their garage. And another thing is that there's certain ones that I think that you can see there, there's like multiple cracks and it looks like it's spalling. The asphalt is coming up. So in that point there, you can't hot tar that section. You need to cut and patch that area there, and then replace it if it needs more stone or if it needs, and then they have to put the hot asphalt on. You don't want cold patch because cold patch will come up in another 2 months. It needs to be hot asphalt to be patched. And then also you can hot tar the seams of where they cut and patched it. And the only reason why I know all this is my sons are in the business.
Are you looking for a contract here?
No, I did call the
You didn't drop a
township about
business
it.
card there, did you?
I did call the township. No, I'm not looking for a cut or anything on this. Anyway,
Only kidding.
I know you are. So I'm just trying to explain what needs to be done because they're wasting their time when they're doing the hot tar on those multiple cracks that are clustered. It's not going to work. It needs to be repaired.
I think, thank you, Ms. Rico.
right.
I think, Manager Nowinski, maybe you could,
Yeah.
Mr. Whitehead out and
Absolutely.
see what he recommends to do and what the,
I will go out to the site with Mr. Whitehead and we'll come up with a plan for sure.
and then we could drop an
Unless
email.
you want us to white out the areas that need to be
No,
done.
well,
I don't have the background to any of this. I don't
Yeah.
know if he's in the
We don't know
middle of
how
the
much.
process. I don't know if there's a temperature requirement in terms of when you're laying certain asphalt at certain times. I don't know any of that. So, but I'm gonna find out and I will make sure
You
Mr.
can't
Whitehead.
seal coat, after, because usually they say, oh, okay, if you're gonna hot tar or crack treatment, I'd like to have my parking lot or my driveway seal coated. That can't be done now. It has to be 50 degrees and above at night.
Well,
Yeah,
Mr. Rico, we'll look
so,
at it.
You know,
and then,
I'm sure you have experts that know how to,
Exactly, so we'll do it. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming in,
all right, I'm just
bringing
trying.
it to our attention,
I'm
and
just
we
trying to
have the
help you out.
photos here also.
Okay.
And then they can find out how much, and then
Oh,
Mr.
you want
Nowinski.
them to have that?
You want
Can I go back up?
You want, yeah, come on back up, you have to state your name and
Yeah.
your address again.
Sorry, I get nervous. I'm not a public speaker.
Do you want this or?
No, my husband's in business.
Oh, God. We have a copy.
Andrew Williams, 82 Point Court. Sorry, I'm not a speaker. Basically, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're very happy that they're doing something. We've had residents who are here who have taken a nice fall. We've had one who was injured. I don't want to say severely, but he was cut up pretty bad. So we are very grateful to the township that they are finally doing something after 10 years of requests. So we do need something done. We have very large chasms. We would have liked if the roads were closed off while the work was being done, if we were notified, if the residents were notified the work was being done. So once again, we are very grateful that something is being done after 10 years of requests. But so once again, we don't want the work to stop. We need something to be done before we lose a small child in some of these holes. But even if they just throw something over the sealant so it dries until we come up with a better option. So I just want to make it clear, we need something to be done before the end of the season because we do have rather large holes in sections. So I just want to be clear that we don't want all the work to stop. But once a patch is done, we need a better option because this has been going on way too long. Calls have been made from board members before I was on the board, up to myself. So we are grateful to what is being done, but it's something better needs to be done before somebody breaks a leg or an ankle.
All right, Andrew.
So I thank you for your
We
time.
appreciate, we see you, we hear you. Mr.
Thank
Nowinski,
you.
the manager, will
And if you need more
reach out,
pictures,
and as you know, Greg Whitehead does a wonderful job.
Greg is
So,
wonderful. Yes,
We appreciate you coming out tonight
thank you. And Mass.
and your posse. Had me worried out there.
You don't mess with Lawrenceville Point.
I appreciate you coming out.
No, I don't.
Do you want your pic-
My husband's in the business.
Everybody's in the business. Public participation, anything else? Sir, in the back, you come up, state your name and your address for the record, please.
Name is Edward Belmont. Reside at 13 Smithfield Avenue. 2 points that I wanted to make. Princeton Pike, as one of you ladies and gentlemen know, has a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. We're concerned that there's an awful lot of speeding going on Princeton Pike. And it's especially sensitive because of all the schools that are on the Princeton Pike. Lawrence High School, Middle School, Benjamin Franklin School, Slackwood. There's all kinds of kids, especially in the early morning and in the middle of the afternoon. And it strikes me that the enough just isn't being done, and maybe some flashing signal lights, the ones that show you when you're exceeding the speed limit in.
Like Ben Franklin. Ben
Yeah,
Franklin has.
Yes, there was one down
Yes.
at
It's
a
two.
Franklin school.
Yeah.
Would be appropriate and more police presence maybe, I don't know. You see the police vehicles quite frequently, but they don't seem to be as mindful as I think they ought to be about the speed limit. And again, I'm not trying to be an old fuddy-duddy, but it's because of the kids. And that's the primary concern. That's point one. Point two is the Lawrence Shopping Center. At the rear of the Lawrence Shopping Center, there's a couple of piles of detritus debris that are covered up in tarp. I'm not even sure what's under the tarp. And there's also some discarded sinks and toilets in the rear that have been there for quite some time. Concerned about that. This is private property probably. I don't know what the township council can do, if anything, but I think it's a problem that I wanted to raise to let you know that we're aware of it and don't think that it's appropriate to have it there. So those are the two major points that I have. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it coming in. I know that, our Lawrence Township Police Department, they do a wonderful job, and they could be going somewhere else when you see them. So it is, and we know that they can't be everywhere, but they're doing a wonderful job on it. And I believe, Mr. Nowinski, the debris we had cleaned up last year at the Lawrence Shopping Center, there was
So,
an
yeah,
incident.
so let me just say two things. Mr. Belmont, thank you for coming. I'm going
Mhm.
to speak with Chief Longo tomorrow about having a greater presence in that area, and possibly getting more lights to signal that, okay? It's a very difficult, fine line. We can't tell police officers to pull people over. As crazy as that sounds, it's something that we can't do. But we can certainly get the message out during their roll call that we have concerned residents and that their presence needs to be there and it needs to be felt. And I will make sure I tell the chief that you came and that you're concerned and we need to do something about it. Second thing is Lawrence Shopping Center is a privately owned establishment. They have been dumping there since I think I was a kid. And what happens is if the township takes the burden to remove that stuff, it just returns. So it's just, I think it's contractors. I think it's just illegal dumping. They just find a remote area. I'll reach out to Mr. Jamal, who's one of the principal owners of the shopping center. Let him know that this is something that's been going on for decades, and maybe we could do something a little bit more about maybe cameras, locating some surveillance cameras in there to get some license plates so the police could do a little bit more to stop the illegal dumping. So we'll do that. Appreciate your comment tonight.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Nowinski, also, even if the owners didn't do it, they're still responsible for cleaning it up in some fashion or another. Right? I just want to make that I understand all the rest of the points.
You
but we should also
understand the
ask them.
delicate balance
I
of
do.
trying to be.
I
a
do, but
good
we
municipal-
can ask them
Yeah.
to please clean it up as
Absolutely,
well.
residents. Yes. Shopping centers, we're rallying, it's doing really well,
Yeah.
and we will certainly.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you for your
coming in.
time.
Be safe going home. Not that I'm sending you home. Please, you can stay as long as you want. All right, public participation. Anyone else? 5 minute public participation. All right, we are closing public participation. Review and revision of the agenda. Councilwoman?
Mr. Mayor, can we add G2, which is authorizing a special item of revenue for drunk driving enforcement in the amount of $7,380.94, and H9, which is authorizing a resolution urging Governor Murphy and the legislature to expedite the solution to the recent State Health Benefits Commission decision to increase state health benefits by 22.8%.
Second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Can I get a motion for 8A, please?
Make a motion to move 8A, the minutes of regular meeting July 19th, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. 9A, motion to move 9A.
Make a motion to move 9A, number 344, authorizing awarding of bid number 22-10, various road striping programs to Traffic Lines, Inc.
Second.
This awards a contract to Traffic Lines Incorporated in the amount of $46,686.50 as a part of our road improvement program and the striping aspect.
Is there public participation on this? Seeing none, we'll close it. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Can I get a motion for 10A, please?
Make a motion for 10A, ordinance number 2434-
Well, I have a question. can I have a question before this?
Sure.
Mr. Roscoe's, I have a question for you here on the ordinance on 243422, amending, it says here, it was posted as 427 adopted. And here, can we go through this or should we table this? If you see the ordinance on the agenda, it says 426.
That's the-
No,
John, you-
I'm sorry.
There's,
When we did this, it was for, Sue came back from the.
I'm just asking, can we go through with this because it was advertised as in the paper 427 and we're putting it through as 426. I mean, is
That
that,
was the typo on the.
I know, I understand it was typo, but can we do that, Mr. Roscoe's?
What I'd like to hear what the clerk has to say. Mayor, could I hear the clerk's
Sure.
explanation? Go ahead, Tanya. Why don't you tell us what happened?
This was already set and done, and what had happened was, it was just a typo. It should have been 427 and not 426. But it was already, but everything in there is corrected on what you received. Everything in your packets is correct. It was just a typo on the actual agenda.
Hearing the clerk's explanation, I think we can move forward now.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. I will make a motion to move 10A, ordinance number 2434-22, ordinance amending S426 floodplain overlay district and S1202 zoning permit of the land use ordinance of the Township of Lawrence.
And knowing that it's 427, I will
Or
second.
27, I'm sorry, see, I screwed it
I
up.
had your back.
Thank you.
Was there a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we are a municipality that has long participated in the National Flood Insurance Program. In order for us to continue to be able to participate in it, we are required to amend the ordinance to reflect a flood prevention ordinance to comply with FEMA requirements.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes,
Mayor Ryan.
Yes, can I get a motion for 10B, please?
Make a motion to move 10B, ordinance number 2435-22, an ordinance authorizing and encouraging electric vehicle supply service equipment, EVSE, at make-ready parking spaces.
second.
Yeah, this is to comply with recently passed state law that will incorporate the requirement to designate it as make-ready parking spaces as a permitted accessory use in all zoning districts.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes,
Mayor Ryan.
Yes, can I get a motion for 10C, please?
Make a motion for 10C, ordinance number 2436-22, ordinance of the Township of Florence and the County of Mercer approving the application for a financial agreement of and authorizing execution of a financial agreement with Lawrence Logistics Center Urban Renewal LLC.
second.
Mayor, if I could, this is essentially the last step in what's been a very protracted process. The Enterprise Avenue site, which has been an area in need of redevelopment for many, many years, is finally going to be redeveloped. The township undertook a redevelopment study, similar to what you heard the presenters discuss tonight. That study recommended that this site be redeveloped, and that's exactly what's happened over the last almost 2 years. We're reaching the finale now, and what this entails is a benefit for the redeveloper in the sense he doesn't pay traditional taxes, and also a benefit for the town, not only in the sense that a moribund dead property has come back, but it's coming back in a financial agreement which inures to our benefit. The township itself will probably receive an additional $13 million over the next 30 years under this financial agreement versus traditional taxes. So this is a real benefit to the town, and it's a real easy one for the council to endorse. There's no school children that come out of this redevelopment area. So it's really a win-win. It's a win-win for the redeveloper, but it's certainly a win for the residents of Lawrence Township.
Thank you, Mr. Roscoe.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Can I get a motion for adoption of 11A, please?
Make a motion for 11A, ordinance number 2433-22, ordinance amending ordinance number 2429-22, salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and/or exempt seasonal emergency non-union employees for 2022-2023.
Second.
Yeah, this is to accommodate a transfer of a civilian employee within the police department. This is a position that's a non-union position, and as a result, needs to be funded by the salary ordinance, and that's what we're doing.
Is there any public participation for this? Closing public participation, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes, I'm sorry. Managers report.
Yeah, I just have one item, and I'm going to pass these out to you. This is, as you know, every year, we are required as a municipality to prepare and submit a best practices survey and inventory. The best practices is a program through the DCA, and what it does is it takes a look at all the municipalities, how they respond, and their state aid is determined on their positive responses. For our purposes, we have scored well above the area that allows for complete state aid. So we're well above the threshold where there will be nothing withheld in terms of whatever state aid we're entitled to. We are viewed as a municipality that complies with a great majority of all the positive programs that the state would like the municipality to be providing to the residents. And that's all I have.
Attorney's report. Mr. Roscoe?
I'm going to save my comments for closed session, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, clerk's report.
Just a few things. Well, I don't know if you heard about there was some misinformation that was going out through a text message.
Through the what?
Which I know through a text message.
Really?
Yes. About the election, giving people incorrect polling information. So I did notify the county, and they did notify the fraud prevention and did an investigation. And then there was some information out on the website from the Secretary of State today as well. Okay, so because we had a resident that called. So, also, I'm working on the website with Greg Dinwiddie. He's going to be updating our website to put election information on there about our polling sites, and also about the early voting. November 8th is voting, and we have early voting that's taking place in Mercer County over at, go to any polling place, but we have one at the library. And that will be, it's already started October 9th, and it will be going through November the 6th, 10 to 8, and on Sunday, 10 to 6. And that's about it. That's what I'll be also working on the boards and committees, getting that out to, and I'll be getting that out to you very soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Unfinished business. None. New business. Moving on. We have public participation, 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close that. Resolutions.
I will make a motion.
18A.
I'll make a motion to move 18B1, D1, and then D3 through H9 in a block.
Second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
and Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Mayor, I'll move 18D2.
Second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Abstain.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Council initiatives and liaison report.
Mr. Mayor, I will just give a heads up to all of my council members that I do have to share the latest report from the DEI committee because they have some good partnership pieces. You get to share it before council, but I just wanted to give you all a heads up that that was coming and they're trying to find new opportunities to partner. That's all I have.
I just have to add on that they had a wonderful turnout for trunk or treat. Telling you, the police did a wonderful job, the rec department, fire department, EMTs. Gosh, there's, what do you think? 800 kids at the end, and some of them came around 2-3 times with the mask off on, so they were double tipping. It really was a great time for everybody. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just want to remind everybody about the coming event, November the 11th, Veterans Day, 11 o'clock sharp out front here, weather permitting. Afterwards, my understanding is we'll be downstairs for light refreshments. That's it.
That's it. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Written communications, none. We appreciate it. We're going to go into executive sessions. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Please be careful.
Did adjourn, didn't we?
Oh, do we need to, do we have to turn the owl off?
Still watching.
Watching,
Okay.
watching us all.